Hello. So for this week's discussion, it says, please discuss your understanding of ethical principles as either absolute moral truths or conditional truths. So in my thought process, I came to the understanding that absolute moral truth is independent. Um, like in the simplest manner, well, in other words, it's the universal truth of the nature of what it is to be human beings, like being taught right from wrong. For example, murder is bad. In the text, Waller says on page 6, so only absolute moral standards can keep us from anarchy. Give up absolute moral standards, and soon murder and mayhem will be celebrated as virtue, and we will have no moral guidance whatsoever. Those who oppose absolute ethics have little patience with the transcendence absolutism favored by Chaplain Halverson, I'm sorry. So that leads me to remember childhood and being taught right from wrong. You don't hit somebody else, or also just the courteous ethics maybe, if that's a thing, like saying excuse me. And that's something we're always taught from a very young age, that that's right and it's wrong to just push people to the side to get to where it is that you need to get to. And then for conditional truth, I wrote, refers more to a conditional sentence and dissecting or explaining what makes up that truth and why. So in a conditional sentence, there will be a statement that depends on a condition being true or false. So it's not independent, like how I stated that absolute moral truth is. It's a little deeper, and you really have to understand the various things that are stated within that one sentence to fully understand their truth. And this reminded me of back, I believe it was on the first or second page of Waller. It said, those shall not bear false witness. Of course, you could read this as, if you don't want to get into trouble with God, then don't bear false witness. But most people interpret it not as some arbitrary rule that you must follow to retain God's favor, but rather as a basic moral principle that God, in his moral wisdom, recognizes and puts in the form of a commandment. So that reminded me of conditional truth, because it's not, well, first of all, it can be conveyed into two different things, but also you wouldn't just read it as a statement. You would have to understand it in a religious standpoint as well. And in the most basic way, without confusing myself further, is how I could put this into paper to really understand it for myself.